It's the show the establishment warned you about.
And welcome to the Dr. Tommy Show. Not without its hiccups, but back again anyway. We were just on and then there was no microphone going on action. So here we are back again. Brought to you by Atlas MD, the preeminent medical software for membership medicine practices across the United States. Membership medicine includes concierge medicine and direct primary care. It includes everything you need to start your practice today. For $600, you can save that just by going to Dr. Tommy Show. That's Dr. Tommy Show, drtommyshow.com. Click on special offer for Atlas MD. Then you can have the most advanced, complete concierge medicine or direct primary care software, billing, communicating with your patients, dispensing medicines, everything for the low cost of $600 plus in your bank account. $600 free. That's amazing, huh?
I think so.
I don't think there's another offer out there like that. Heck, there used to be a free one called, I'm not going to say the word, but there used to be a free EMR out there. And that's about the only other one, but that one is nothing compared to Atlas MD.
Oh, no.
And it was built for insurance practice.
We did billing separately and yeah.
You had to communicate on your cell phone.
I mean, it was okay. It was okay for
free.
free.
Yeah, for absolutely nothing's free.
We shouldn't complain about it. It was free, but
you can have this one for free, which is amazing. And it's something that if you're not familiar with Atlas MD and you want to become familiar, it's easy. Just like I said, go to drtommyshow.com and sign up. One of our new patients that came in was a fan of the show and had seen the show a few times. So if you're new to the show, we broadcast from Echelon-Health, which is the only sports and family medicine concierge medicine program in the state. I think. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Who knows? I know it's the only one in Tampa, and there's not very many out there. And there's a few sports and family medicine, but you're always welcome to come in and meet us and ask us questions. This patient was another of the growing number of self-employed business owners who also have health sharing ministries. So that's kind of, when you're in the marketing, they say, who is your target client? And you're supposed to say exactly who their target client is. And for us, target clients are people who don't want the government intruding into their health care.
They're anti-government for sure.
Anti-big government, not anti-government.
Right.
Like if there's someone breaking down their door, they want the cops to come. They're not that anti-government, but they don't want the local bureaucrat to tell them, "Oh, this is what you need to do for your insurance. So you're too stupid to figure it out. Here, we're going to go ahead and make this insurance plan for you, and this is the only one you can buy." Actually, if you try to buy another one, not only is it illegal, not only do we not want you to do it, we're going to fine you for doing that. And thankfully, the Trump administration has made that fine go away, starting today. Starting this year, next year actually, in November, right? Or January.
January. So when you file your taxes in 2019, or your taxes from 2018, there should be no fine.
There will be no fine. And that is a miracle because that was the linchpin for the Obamacare / ACA to even be a legitimate law, was that they said that you had to have the individual mandate, which was a penalty that if you didn't buy it, their approved insurance, not insurance, you had to buy their approved insurance. Because they said, well, the reason we need the individual mandate is there's too many quote unquote free riders. So patients would show up to the hospital and they'd be treated and then they would never take care of themselves, or otherwise they wouldn't go to the doctor for many years, and then they'd show up at the doctor's office and they'd have all these medical problems. And they say, well, if you just had insurance before, none of this would ever happen, and you're costing us money now. And so now you're going to be mandated to buy insurance. And they said, well, then you have to have insurance that covers hangnails. You have to have insurance that covers, you have to have insurance that covers birth control, everything under the sun. And if you don't have that, then that's not adequate insurance. And so when that happened, people were saying, you know what, I don't need all that because it costs $600 to insure myself and my wife, or the two of us, whoever it was. And then we have a $6,000 deductible, and we don't need that garbage. And so they don't have that garbage. What's new in the world? We have recently, speaking about the ACA, they have recently said that is unconstitutional. A federal judge in, I believe it was Texas, said that the ACA is now unconstitutional. And the reason for it, if you haven't been watching the news, which if you haven't been, I don't blame you. There's nothing really good on the news except, maybe your local news may have some things here and there, but overall the news is just bad news. But either way, a Texas judge, a federal judge in Texas, has made the ACA deemed to be unconstitutional because that mandate, which was formerly there, like we said, to force you to buy insurance, has been made zero. So there is effectively no mandate. Mm-hmm. And as such, the mandate is the linchpin on which ACA stands. And they've said this as much. They said, look, without the mandate, there could be no ACA because we have to have young, healthy people buying insurance, which they otherwise would not buy. And without them, we can't make this thing function financially. Also, there's something called severability. And in the mandate, in the ACA, the clauses are not severable. So what that means is there is one of them has to be with the other. So let's say that in a contract, you say, look, you're going to be a patient at Echelon-Health, and in order to do so, you must be truthful with us, and you must also pay. And they're not severable. So you could say, well, if it's severable, then I'm going to be truthful with you, but I'm not going to pay. Mm-hmm. Well, we have a clause in there that says that we don't have a clause, but it's acknowledged that they're not severable. Well, in the ACA, there was no severability clause, and in every contract almost you'll find that. And that was done for a reason. That was a political calculation that they did for a reason. They said it's unseverable because they were saying, we want you to have to go through the whole process of repealing it the way you've done it, which is a very uphill battle. Because if you just repeal part of it, like the mandate, then the people wouldn't have to pay for the mandate. Mm-hmm. We want you to have it's either all or none.
What made this judge just now to decide this?
Well, the court case has been winding its way through the different because it's already at federal court level, and then when it got there, they were the judge said, "Look, now it is unconstitutional. The only way it was constitutional before was because Judge John Roberts, who was the Supreme Court justice, who is he's the Chief Justice. He said, look, this is not a penalty. This is actually a tax, and the government has the ability to tax, and as such, this is a tax. This makes it legal. Therefore, Obamacare is constitutional.
Okay.
Please drive through." And so
we can just change the word however we want to make it constitutional.
And what's funny too is because if you look at the political argument for it, they said, look, it's not a tax. It's not, because then they would say, well, you're trying to raise our taxes. And, oh, no, we're not raising taxes. It's not a tax. Mm-hmm. It's a penalty. Mm-hmm. So what happened was John Roberts got it, and John Roberts apparently at the last minute changed his mind to go along with the more liberal justices at the Supreme Court. This is not known for sure, but those close to the situation said at the very last minute, Justice Roberts jumped sides, and he went from the ones that said the ACA is constitutional or unconstitutional, which was the Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas, the late I'm blanking on his name, but anyway, Scalia. Mm-hmm. This group was saying, look, it's unconstitutional, and then they had the more liberal judges who are saying it is constitutional. Anyway, and even Justice Kennedy, who was known as the grand swing vote, he was the most popular justice on any Supreme Court, is the one who sits the fence. And after Sandra Day O'Connor retired in the 80s, or I'm sorry, she was appointed in the 80s. After she retired, she was the swing vote before. And she was the smart one. The swing vote on the Supreme Court is always acknowledged as the most Solomon-like. They weigh all of, anyway, Justice Kennedy was with the conservatives. And then at the very last minute, Justice Roberts apparently switched sides and joined the liberal justices. And now we have ACA, at least we did. So ACA is now, at least by the federal court judge in Texas, declared unconstitutional. And it's slowly been chipped away since President Trump was elected. Mm-hmm. Slowly, like he's been taking a pickaxe to it. And another thing that President Trump has, and it's been unpopular amongst the DC establishment. And one of the things that Donald Trump has done also recently is he said, look, we're going to pull out of Syria. Mm-hmm. We're done in Syria. We're going to pull out. And both and this is bipartisan criticism. Anytime you have bipartisan acceptance of a president, you're concerned. For me, and when you have bipartisan criticism, you're also a little bit. It draws your attention. So Syria is now, we're pulling out of Syria.
Right. He's bringing 2,000 troops home, right?
Right.
2,000 people home.
And then the talking heads have, the big mistake. Why? I don't know.
Well, and I know Trump says there's not a threat there anymore. So let's bring them home. Let them go home to their families.
Well, they said, well, look, it's going to cause ISIS to rise again.
Right. I've read that.
Which is what the argument was when Barack Obama pulled out of Iraq quickly. Barack Obama said, look, this is my drawdown strategy. We're going to get out of there faster. Republicans said, you're wrong. Democrats said, Obama's smart. You're stupid. Obama's smart. Now, Trump says, look, we're pulling out. What do the Democrats say? What are you doing?
Yeah, they think that
it shows you how contrived they are.
Right.
You want to see something more contrived, is look at this whole border situation. Look, and you can Google this easily. This is the beauty of the internet, is you can go right now and say Chuck Schumer against illegal immigration, or Bill Clinton against illegal immigration. Click videos, and you'll bring up videos from prominent Democrats now who are open borders, saying just a few years ago, I mean, they even look the same.
Almost all of them, even Hillary. You can watch videos of almost any politician.
All of them, yep. And they're all saying, well, we can't have you.
Why do you think that is, though?
Because they've been paid differently. Whoever's in charge, whatever political calculation they made before has now changed.
Yeah, but don't they know that people are going to Google this and see?
Most people won't. Most people won't. Most people will be...
I know a lot of people believe whatever they see on the internet, and maybe they didn't follow politics 4 years ago.
Well,
so they don't know.
Most people believe what they're told to believe. It's just like you're a gator or a Seminole. Mm-hmm. Let's use that analogy.
You can do you have to know? Pretty
oh yeah,
just
divided house. Yeah. But let's say you're a gator or a Seminole. Mm-hmm. If someone comes to you and says, gators are awesome, and you're a Seminole, you say what?
Yeah, of course they're not.
No, you're a Seminole.
I'm a Seminole.
Gators are awesome. Gators are going to win this year. What do you say?
I'm going to say the Seminoles are going to win.
Yeah, and you're going to say the Gators suck.
Yeah.
Now, do you need to know who the Gator quarterback is to say that? Or the Seminole quarterback?
I know.
No. You just need to know whose team you're supposed to cheer for.
Right.
And that's the job of the media. Mm-hmm. The job of the media is to whip people into supporting Democrat policies, more or less.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's all about being a follower. We talked about that all the time too, even as simple as the car line at the pickup.
Yeah.
So
there'll be 20 people in one line, nobody in the other line, but everybody gets in that one car line because they're like, there must be something wrong with the other line.
Right. So they just, they all follow
no one's
each
in
other.
That line.
And then we'll say, why are people going in this line? It's open. There's nobody in it. I guess it's the same for politics. They just get on the bandwagon and, their friends or whoever their friends are following, or maybe what their friends tell them, and they don't do their own research.
The other thing is before you said there was a study where some people went into a doctor's office and they're all sitting down, and one person stood every time they rang a bell.
Yes.
For no reason. They rang a bell, person stood up and sat back down. And everybody else was like, what the hell are they doing? Then before you know it, another person got up, sat down. And before you know it, the whole office was waiting room, standing up, sitting down a bell. Why? Because they're just following.
And no one knew why. There was no explanation, nothing.
And so if you take people who are susceptible, let's say you're susceptible to an emotional plea, let's say, and the emotional plea is people want to come to America. All they want to do is come here and they want to come from Guatemala or Honduras, and they just want to work hard and live the American dream. And who are you to not only not let them in with open arms, but to put up a wall? Who are you? And then the media says, and this is the one you choose. I mean, that's very, very easy to just fall in line. So yeah, well, maybe so. Mm-hmm. And every station, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News now, they're all saying the same thing. Before you know it, it's a very enticing argument.
Right.
The same thing with anything.
What's going on with Tucker Carlson?
I don't know. Oh. He's getting, I guess there are people boycotting. They're always boycotting something.
He seems like, I know I don't know. It seems like, I know his house. People have been going there threatening his house or threatening him at his house. But didn't he say something about immigration the other day, that Trump wasn't doing his job?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what he said. I don't, I would be lying to you if I told you I knew exactly or knew anything about what goes on any of the media, including Fox News, because I don't. My father used to watch Fox News back in the day, and they probably still do, but I just, any of them are just, to me, are just boring. They're just too slow. It's too programmed, too canned. It's like having TV dinners for your consumption. You know, here we are at 6 o'clock. We're going to turn on the news of the day, and it's going to be, you're going to get some peas. You're going to get some rubber turkey. You're going to get a little mashed potatoes and gravy. And this is what you're going to get. That's what you get, I think, when you watch TV. I can't do it. One of the things that the ACA is unconstitutional now, according to the Texas judge, is people say, well, what about the uninsured? And most importantly, what about the ones who are pre-existing conditions? That's the big one. Pre-existing conditions.
I hear a lot of people say, mention pre-existing.
What would we do without, so let's say, what is pre-existing conditions now? How is that going to be a problem for day-to-day care in a direct primary care practice?
Right. It's not.
It's not. So if you look at pre-existing conditions, they're all problems with insurance.
Exactly.
And so why is it that pre-existing conditions are allowed? Well, is a pre-existing condition, if you are, let's say that you are, have hypertension, does that make you any more likely to have a heart attack than someone without? Yes, it makes you a little bit more
Possibly,
likely.
yes.
Should that cause you not to have any insurance coverage? I don't think so.
No.
But I think what we have here in the United States is we have this belief that if you have any pre-existing conditions, you will not be able to have insurance. And, Beverly Gossage is one of the people that I've followed on social media, and she is a insurance agent. She actually did a very good talk about the history of insurance at the AAPS one year. And she said that basically, before the ACA was around, pre-existing conditions were very easy to cover, believe it or not. Bad pre-existing conditions like cancer. So let's say, she gave the example, let's say that you have a child and pre-ACA, your child was uninsured and they developed a problem, say a brain tumor. Well, under the old laws, the child's insurance would be about $30 a month. If you had signed up when you're supposed to, open enroll, blah, blah, blah. Let's say you waited till the last minute and the child was diagnosed with something devastating. Now they need insurance because they're going to have expensive treatment. They're going to have expensive treatment. That's why they need the insurance, because you're not going to be able to afford it. You need to share the burden of this high-risk thing. Guess how much the cost of that insurance would be pre-ACA to that family?
Oh,
Yeah, before the ACA, she had to go into the high-risk pool, it's called.
Well, I don't know, probably not much more.
$150.
Yeah.
Now, tell you this, ACA, current day, try to find an insurance policy for $150 for anybody.
And yeah.
Unless you meet the financial qualifications that allow you to have someone else help pay your bill to the insurance company, they're all going to be high.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people don't understand that someone else is helping pay that bill. Well,
it's someone else is the government, who is the same one who pays maybe for their cell phone, maybe gives them some money to buy groceries with, maybe supplements their rent. And so then that's just the government. The government has money. Where it comes from, nobody knows.
Right.
It just has it, and they give it some to us because we need it. And we could use some, but not everyone gets it. But the high risk pools are something that was a law. A law, I believe, is, if you look at her video, HIPAA, which we all know what HIPAA is. One of the things of HIPAA was that each state had to establish a high risk pool. It wasn't a federal high risk pool, which is the other argument that people say is we have to have a federal solution. The whole nation has to be on board, one solution. Now, I doubt that the whole nation could agree on who their favorite Backstreet Boy is, much less on one insurance policy for everybody. So let the states decide. So each state had to establish a high risk pool. However you did it. And like she said, it was a higher fee. It was 5 times as much. And so you tell someone, well, that's if you tell somebody that, they can get a high risk pool, but it's 5 times as much. Well, what if that 5 times as much was much less than anybody can get now without subsidies, unless they have subsidies? But that argument, you'll fall on deaf ears with that, because what people want to hear is it's not my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at fault, and someone else is going to take care of it, namely the government.
Right.
That's what they want to hear. And politicians are very apt to tell them, yes, we're going to do that. The other thing that has been in the news lately is they passed this heartbeat bill in Ohio, I believe it is, abortion.
Right, just Ohio, right?
Well, Ohio passed it. So
Okay.
the law says now, if John Kasich signs it, I don't know if he's signed it yet. I think he's already vetoed it once, that if the heartbeat can detect it on ultrasound, you cannot have an abortion. Now, if you look on the internet, this is denial of reproductive rights to women. And this idea that abortion is something that should be available to everybody is the most politically what we call charged argument that you have. So much so that abortion is that if you have a child, let's say a 16-year-old child, and they want to go have an abortion, does that doctor have to contact you?
No,
absolutely not.
But
now,
if your 16-year-old goes to the doctor because they have the sniffles,
or they want to get a school physical,
or the ear pain, then we can't see them unless we have parental, parent permission. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, and then the other thing is that the abortion is so important. Not only does it have to be legal in all circumstances, it has to be something where we pay for it. We, meaning taxpayers, we have to help fund Planned Parenthood, because Planned Parenthood has a vital mission, they say, to screen people for cancer and do abortions. I mean, if you ask anybody, hey, I'm going to Planned Parenthood, guess what I'm going for? Well, I immediately think abortion, maybe some birth control pills. But who says, yeah, I'm going to get my pap smear? Where are you going? Planned Parenthood. I mean, they do them. But when you hear Planned Parenthood, that means they're planning your parent. Yeah. And the plan is usually almost 100%. Guess what? You're not going to be a parent.
That's right.
How many parents, soon-to-be parents, go into Planned Parenthood, and if Planned Parenthood has done their mission correctly, leave as still a potential parent? So that's the plan. The plan is not to be a parenthood.
So
planned unparenthood. So
this heartbeat bill that's been passed, we know that you can hear a heartbeat on ultrasound.
Ultrasound is one of the worst things to happen to the abortion movement in recent history.
Most definitely. When I think, these young mothers that go into planned, they don't think that, I don't know what they think. Maybe they're just uneducated. They think that you're not going to hear a heartbeat until months down the road. But you're going to hear it very early on an ultrasound. So if you show a mom, if you do an ultrasound, is that a requirement now?
I think it is. I don't know.
There was some discussion.
There was a discussion, and then it was met with a lot of, as you would expect, pushback. Yeah.
So if you do an ultrasound on these young mothers that come in, or old mothers, whoever, the person that's pregnant, I think there would be a lot less abortions. There'll still be people saying, I don't care, do it still.
Yeah. I think for the Planned Parenthood community, less is more. The less you know, the more is better. Less is more. Meaning, look, informed consent is this. You want to be pregnant or not? No? Okay. I'm not saying that's what they do, but I think that's the idea of the pro-abortion industry, is to say, look, you want this gone, we're going to take care of it. It's basically taking out a hit.
We've seen videos, undercover people, going into there and talking to the staff about what happens.
Well, it's kind of like, do you want to know the nitty gritty of what's going to go on, or do you just want us to take care of this? Well, just take care of it. Mm-hmm. And the heartbeat bill then is something. But what made me think about it is this disgusting video, which I didn't watch. It says, heart-wrenching, 22-week-old twin babies died after a hospital refused to save the infants because they were not expected to live. The video shows a mother crying and pleading for the babies while the staff ignored her. See, I can't watch that.
I seen the headline, but I did not read it.
I'm not going to click on that.
And no.
That's disgusting. Anyway. What else? So we covered the ACA. One of the things I wanted to say is Surgery Center of Oklahoma has always been on the forefront of fighting for free market medicine. Mm-hmm. And they have an article here actually that was, let me go ahead and bring it up. This was published. Oh, this was Dr. Smith's blog. So if you go to surgerycenterok.com, click on the blog, he says 10 lessons from running a cash-based ambulatory surgery center. And I'm just going to go through a few of them. But the one of them that I wanted to bring to mind is this, in a nutshell, tells you what third-party payers do for medical care. Not the only thing they do. This is one of the things that they do, okay? And this is number 3. It says, insurance carriers do not value high quality or reasonable pricing. No carriers want or have ever wanted to work with our facility, Surgery Center of Oklahoma. While this sounds paradoxical, our transparent pricing denies the carriers the ability to skim the transaction, parentheses, securing a portion of the fictitious discounts they apply to claims for themselves. For instance, when a $100,000 bill is, quote, discounted to $20,000, an employer group, for instance, pays a commission to the carrier for the $80,000, quote, saved. Working with our facility represents an opportunity foregone for the carriers due to our price posting. So what he's saying is, it's kind of like the people who go out and say, look, I just bought a purse and I saved $300. Wow, that's weird. How much was the purse? Well, the purse was $1,000. What do you mean you saved $300? Well, it was on sale. It was regularly $1,300, but it was on sale for $300. I got it for $1,000. And then they saved $300 instead of saying, look, I just spent $1,000 on a purse. Same thing happens. This is another point he makes. Transparently priced medical service models are not for everyone. Fastidious and inefficient surgeons, for instance, do not fare well in an environment containing low maintenance and inefficient competitors. Surgeons with unusually high implant use or those involved in fee-sharing arrangement with implant manufacturers also do not fare well in a transparent competitive environment. Market discipline, when allowed to function, cleanses the market of the inefficient, incompetent, and unethical. So he's saying that, look, all this talk about transparency and pricing, it all sounds well and good, but not everyone wants that. I mean, there's some people out there, insurance agent or insurance companies, hospitals that make a very good living because their prices are not transparent. Right. We know that from experience. Well, for instance, not going to say the name of the hospital, but we had a hospital we went to for delivery, and the bill went from $2,700, part of the bill, to what? $300. So $2,700 to $300. Now the EOB that I seen for myself, they charge $1,200 a day for the bed, for the room. I mean, what kind of $1,200? Now that's does that include the nursing staff and the cleaning staff? And it does include that. But still, that's a bargain compared to go spend the night in the ICU. Have the misfortune of being in the ICU for one night without insurance, and you will have an astronomical bill, or have a angioplasty. And whether you're going to say, well, those are specialized care. Obviously, they are. But back to Dr. Smith's model, if we had competitors, let's say, competing for services, to offer services for whether it's angioplasty, surgery, and their point, birthing, delivery, the market will dictate that the price that will be paid is going to be lower and the quality will be better overall. But that would require transparency, and that would also, these other middle people would miss out. So if I'm going to negotiate, let's say that I'm with ABC Insurance Company, and I negotiate with Florida Hospital or Tampa General or Baycare, and I say, look, our members, instead of paying the $50,000 for delivery for spontaneous vaginal, I'm making these numbers up, I don't know what they are, $50,000 or $25,000 for spontaneous vaginal delivery, 3 days, normal 2 day stay, no complications. Instead of paying the $25,000, our members are going to pay, let's say, $15,000. And then I'm going to get paid by giving you that. I'm going to get a benefit. I'm going to get the benefit of having your chosen rep and whatever financial arrangements we have, because I saved that amount of money, $10,000. Well, let's say that the price isn't $15,000 though. What if the price is only $5,000? Then you didn't really save $15,000 or $10,000. You actually cost $10,000 more. But because we live in this situation where the prices are not real,
Can you imagine walking into a hospital and it being like McDonald's, though? All the prices listed.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand they obviously can't do that
for everything.
Yes, they can't do that for everything.
But it shouldn't be as hard as it is. And we should not be given the runaround that we get when we call a doctor's office or a hospital and say, we have a patient that needs this service done for cash, and that they should not tell us, well, we don't do that. We don't see self-pay patients. Or we shouldn't have to say, okay, well, what is that question you have again? Someone doesn't have insurance? You're going to have to hold. I just talked to my supervisor, and they're going to have to do some research on this to get back to you. You never heard. This should not be the case.
Right. It's like they have some kind of contagious illness, and they don't want to see them.
Yeah. But here's the thing is, let's say that you want to have free market medicine. You want to have better quality and lower prices. Let's say that you believe that. Some people don't believe that. Some people don't believe that you should have that. Some people believe that networks should be set up by insurance companies with hospitals and doctor groups, and then you should pay to access their network, and you should just stay in that. Okay, let's say you want to stay in that system. Fine, stay in that system. But let's say that you want to have another way. Let's say you don't believe that's a good way, and you want to be like Dr. Smith, or you want to be like Dr. Umber, or you want to be like us, and you want to do a better way. Well, one of the things you can do is just say, look, we're not going to participate. And not only that, we're going to build our own way. So is the better way to force someone to let you use their road to try to get somewhere, or just build your own road?
Yeah, make your own.
And I think a lot of the times the people who are in this business, meaning free market medicine, lose focus on that. They try to force people to see things their way. They try to make their way into an employer group and say, don't do that. Don't do the high cost insurance practice with your benefits. Work with us. And then they beat their head against the wall because they say, look at all the benefits that you could get. Why don't you want it? Well, most everybody doesn't want it, at least nowadays. It may change, but at least nowadays, most people don't want that. Most people who are employers. So you have to just find the ones that do through your marketing, identify them, and then say, look, we're going to forge ahead, and we're going to have this awesome path. Join us if you want. If you don't want to, you have an option. And continue the way you are, or not, whatever. It doesn't matter. Well, we're getting near the end of the show. Trans-Siberian Orchestra is in season. If you haven't seen Trans-Siberian Orchestra, highly recommended that you do that. We went to see them December 16th, and it was our second time seeing them. It was a great show. Probably 2.5, 3 hours almost. And it's opens with Christmas-oriented music, and then closes with just regular, good old symphonic rock and roll. And so Trans-Siberian Orchestra, if you have a chance to go see them.
This is their 20th year.
20th year. And they have their roots in Tampa through a band called Sabotage, which is the original core members of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, along with Paul O'Neill, who's the late producer of both Sabotage and Trans-Siberian Orchestra, have their roots in Tampa, and we're proud of that. And we're going to close with a song called The Nutrocker, and it's by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And the reason I'm closing with that is because that's the closest I can get to Trans-Siberian Orchestra, because YouTube, you can't play Trans-Siberian Orchestra on YouTube. So we're going to close with Nutrocker. Thank you for joining us. If you have not gone to our website, go to Dr. Tommy, that's drtommyshow.com. And that is where we have our Dr. Tommy Show. That's where we have basically the Dr. Tommy Show podcast and all the information about that. And then if you want to learn more about our particular practice, go to Dr. Tommy, DOCTOR, Tommy.com. That's our medical practice. And thank you all for listening. And until next time, bye-bye.